Hi, friends. This is part two of our Snow White reading. Um, we read the first half the other day of this Snow White Russian folktale. Please make sure that you have your characters booklet. You also have a pencil and a highlighter. We are going to start off by rereading our summary. That helps us remind ourselves where we were, what we read, and then maybe gives us some hints about what we're going to read in this next part. So please find your summary. It should be on page 25. I'm going to read mine out loud. It says, Ivan and his wife Marie are sad because they don't have any children. They decide to have fun building a girl out of snow. They are surprised when the snow child comes to life. So now we're going to see what happens when this snow child comes to life. Are you ready? Please turn to page 26 and let's get started.
"I am Snow White, your little daughter," exclaimed the figure. She threw her fairy-like arms around Ivan's neck as he bent toward her. Marie, in turn, received a sweet embrace. Then, weeping for joy, they quickly took the girl into their cottage. No longer were Ivan and Marie lonely. Snow White prattled to them by the hour, and they never wearied of watching her. Her tiny feet pattered over the snow like those of some small white elf.
So here we get introduced to Snow White. Now, does this Snow White remind you of the Disney Snow White? No, not really, right? So maybe it's called Snow White because she's made out of what? Snow? Kind of interesting, huh? Okay. So are Ivan and Marie lonely anymore? No. Why are they not lonely? Because they have a little daughter now, right? Okay. So let's grab our highlighters and let's do some highlighting. So first, let's tell who this person is. I am Snow White, your little daughter. And then because of this, look at this sweet picture right here. They're not lonely anymore, right? So that's so nice, huh? Okay, let's go ahead and continue reading. We're going to read paragraphs 13 and 14, and then we will go back to highlighting.
Snow White's hair was like fine spun silk. Her eyes were blue as the heavens, and her skin white as snow. So gentle and sweet were her looks and ways that everyone loved her dearly. The children in the village were never so happy as when they played with her. "Go, be with the children," Marie told her daughter. "It is a bright sub-zero day." The colder it was, the happier Snow White seemed to be. Her favorite playthings were the glittering icicles that hung from the frosted trees.
Okay, so now Snow White starts to play with the children, right? And the children, like her parents, loved her so much. They had so much fun playing with her. It says they were never so happy as when they played with her. So sweet, right? All right. And then it says the mom's telling her, go play with the kids. It'll be so much fun. And she says right here, a sub-zero day. What does that mean? Sub-zero day. So the word sub means below, okay? So below zero, they're talking about the temperature here. So it's like -5 or -10 or -7 degrees. So it means it's super, super, super cold. But we learn that Snow White loves the snow. The colder it was, the happier Snow White seemed to be. So let's highlight that. I bet that is going to be important. All right, you ready to keep reading? Let's keep going.
The long winter passed too quickly for Ivan and Marie. In spring, the deep snows melted. The sun's rays spread a wave of green over the land and studded the meadows with brilliant flowers. By then, Snow White had grown as tall as a girl of 12. Yet, as the days grew longer, Snow White lost her joyous spirits and became quiet and sad. "Are you ill, my child?" inquired her mother.
So now the winter is just about over. Spring comes and the snow is starting to melt. We learned in paragraph 14 that Snow White was so happy when it was cold. But as spring comes, what happens? Go ahead and highlight what happens as the days grew longer. As we go into spring and summer, what happens to Snow White? You should have highlighted that as the days grew longer, Snow White lost her joyous spirit and became quiet and sad. The mother thinks that she's sick. Do you think she's sick? I'm not totally sure. Let's go ahead and find out. Page 28.
Snow White shook her head. "No, dear mother, I am not ill," she murmured. However, instead of playing with the other children, as she had loved to do before, she stayed indoors. She gazed out the window with dreamy eyes.
Okay, so she's not sick, but does she want to go outside and play? No, she doesn't. So she stops playing with the other children and she stays indoors. Sad, right? Okay, let's keep reading.
"Snow White, Snow White, come out and play!" cried a group of her small companions, peeping in through the open door. "We are going to the woods to gather flowers and dance round the fairy ring." "Yes, go to the woods with your little friends, my darling," said her mother fondly, tying a ribbon over Snow White's pale gold curls. Snow White left the cottage reluctantly, for she would far rather have stayed at home. She walked slowly and without joy against a bright blue sky.
Okay, so Snow White gets convinced to leave her house. Does she want to? No, that's what reluctantly means. Reluctantly means that you don't want to do something that you're going to do. Like you're just like, oh, I don't really want to do that. So she'd rather stay home, right? So let's go ahead and highlight. She left her cottage reluctantly, for she would have rather stayed home. All right, let's keep reading.
When the children had filled their laps with many-hued blossoms, they wove them into wreaths and crowns and returned home. They were having a festival that night and wanted to look like kings and queens. At dusk, they came again for Snow White. Once more she went with them reluctantly. Her soft blue eyes dropped tears as she glanced at her father and mother, but they told her to go and play.
Okay, so she goes with them. She returns home, but then what happens? They come for her again, right? And she goes, but again, reluctantly. She just doesn't want to go, but her parents are saying, go, it'll be fun, it'll be okay. Let's see what happens.
A bonfire lit up the marketplace that night. The flames danced high. The sparks flew around in gleaming showers, and the children laughed. "Look at us, Snow White, and do as we do," said first one and then another, jumping over the fire. Suddenly they saw that Snow White had vanished.
What happened? Snow White vanished. We have to highlight that. Where did she go? What was going on? They had a bonfire, right? The flames danced high, the sparks flew around in gleaming showers. But what happened to Snow White? Think of her name, Snow White.
"Where are you?" cried the children, but there was no reply. Snow White had melted in the heat of the fire and floated away to the clouds from which she had first come in soft white flakes of snow. Her playmates searched for her, but never again did Snow White sit with her parents by their cottage door.
So where did she go? Where did she vanish to? She melted. Snow White needed that snow. She melted in the heat of the fire and floated away into the clouds. She was never seen again. Okay, so kind of sad for Snow White's parents, right? Let's go ahead and we're going to write a summary. I'm going to have you start it with me, but then I'll have you finish it on your own. So we think back and we learned that Snow White was the child of Ivan and Marie, right? So we have to introduce that. So Snow White. We're writing our summary on page 29, by the way. Is the child that Ivan, and Marie hoped for. What season does she love? Winter, right? So she spends the winter, enjoying the cold outside, right? But then what happens? Spring comes along and she is sad. She reluctantly, remember that word, goes to a festival with her friends. And what happens? Go ahead and write the last sentence. What happens when Snow White goes to this festival? Go ahead and pause the video and write your last sentence. So you should have written something about her melting away from the bonfire. It doesn't have to be the same as mine, but it needs to be something about that. So at the festival, she melts from the heat of the bonfire and vanishes forever. Kind of a sad ending to the story, right? All right, so like I said, you don't have to have the exact same sentence as me, but you do need to have something about her melting from the heat of the bonfire and then vanishing forever. All right, friends, that's it for our Snow White lesson. Great job highlighting and summarizing. We'll see you later.